iHeartRadio Broadway, driven by Mercedes-Benz.
At this point, it's kind of a New York staple. You know, I feel like this role really is just the epitome of like Broadway glamour. You get to be kind of every side of yourself, and it's like a show that really celebrates femininity and its power in such a beautiful way. And so when this opportunity came along, it was such a no-brainer because, you know, and you just get to sing you get to sing so many fun songs. Like, I was like, oh, I get to sing how I want to sing. I get to kind of show myself in a different light, and I get to be with John Cardoza. So what more could you want? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, the film is, of course, iconic, and Ewan McGregor's performance is the stuff of legend. And, you know, one of my favorite things about Christian is that he is somebody who believes that vulnerability is his power, his openness to the world, his curiosity. And so that is sort of like an artist's dream to delve into that kind of personality, and he has no fear of the, you know, ugly parts of life. And so I get to lean into life's beauty and also some of the parts that stretch you as a person, and that is a journey that I get to take every night. So, and I get to do it with Solea Pfeiffer, which is a dream and a half. Touring and Broadway, they both have their challenges, and it was my first time touring. And let me tell you, I have nothing but the utmost respect for any artist who packs their bags and takes art across the country to places that don't necessarily get to see productions like this that are so almost immersive and spectacular. And I got to meet a lot of incredible fans across the country who were so grateful for the chance to experience this production, and I will never take that for granted. And so many of them have come to see us already here in New York, and the fact that the show that we gave them when we were visiting was powerful enough to inspire them to come back and visit us here in New York is like something that blows my mind. And so I'm so grateful to you all if you're watching this. But yeah, I mean, I have nothing but respect for artists who put their lives on hold to bring art across the country. And so one of the major differences, of course, is being able to live at home. You know, my life is here, my friends are here, my dog is here. I get to kind of leave the world of the show at the end of the night, which is a little more challenging on tour because you are kind of on your own and in the microcosm of the production. So, you know, but I'm just so happy to be revisiting it. And in terms of how it prepared me for how touring prepared me for Broadway, is that I got to begin the process of understanding this character on the road. And when my time on tour came to an end, which was a very sort of brief 6 months, I was kind of I was sad because I felt like I was just kind of scratching the surface, because it really takes a long time for these roles to inhabit your body fully. And so I'm so grateful to revisit the role now. I'm grateful to Moulin Rouge for having me back, and to explore it through a new lens, being having a new scene partner and having new bodies and lives around me. And yeah, it only gets deeper and deeper every day. So I'm really thrilled to be here.
I think this is kind of how I've marked this kind of year in my life. Through these roles, I was lucky enough to start the year as Eurydice, then move through the year as Myrtle Wilson in Gatsby Land, and now Satine. And so I feel like I started the year as a hungry young girl, and now as Satine, like, you are a woman. Like, I feel like there's just a different kind of, you are tapping into a very different part of yourself. You know, Eurydice is a tough, scrappy survivor. I think the same can be said for Satine. Same can be said for Myrtle, too. I will say, it doesn't end well for any of them. You're going to hell twice. You know, you're getting hit by a car, spoiler alert, or, you know, consumption, or tuberculosis as we know it today. But ultimately, I think there is... the common thread through these characters is a knowing that life is short and that tomorrow isn't promised, and you got to fight for your people and you got to fight for yourself. And so I think that kind of spirit in Eurydice is very present in this character as well. This show is definitely physically, I would say, more demanding. There's a lot of, if you're not on stage, you're off stage changing. And so this was like, get to the gym, get your cardio in, get your steps in. I would say this is probably more of a like physical get yourself ready for it than anything else, because these other roles really prepared me, to go from that like transition from, like I was saying, girl to woman. I mean, crazy to turn like 30 years old and then that night go on stage and be like, when are we getting so old? And I was like, enough is enough. It's absolutely wild. But yeah, no, it's really, I've gotten to play a lot of really fascinating women in my life. But this year especially has been all about the need to do more than just survive. And that really getting to bounce that off of John is what makes it so exciting. There's only so much you can do before heading into a rehearsal space other than like learning the songs and knowing your lines, and then you have the person in front of you, and that's what makes it very exciting. So it's more so just like as we continue to build it even now, like I feel like we're still, till our final day, we'll keep finding new things and finding our way in. And yeah, no, it's cool. I think this is one of those roles where you really feel like that girl,
And she is.
I think mostly it's just been like, how are you doing?
Yes, it's a lot of that.
Are you're doing okay?
But as you can see, we laugh a lot, which
yeah.
is very important, I think.
Yeah.
It's, it's a really grueling show. It's very physically draining. You are, stretching yourself from start to finish, whether you're in the rehearsal room or on stage. And so finding time to laugh is very important. It's also, it has a very heartbreaking turn at the end. It's very tragic.
Yes.
And so finding joy with each other off stage is very important. And I think it does a lot for your performance on stage to connect in that way.
And I feel like cultivating that is kind of the most at the heart of this story is this love story. Like the story doesn't make any sense if by the end of the first act we don't believe that these people are ready to risk it all in about 4 hours. like act one is one night, mind you.
Just one night.
They meet that one night, and then they're like, it's over for everyone else. It's me and you, and so I think leaning into that's what being in love should be like, I think, is fun. And this is someone who you can't help but smile around. This is someone who is gonna make you laugh no matter what's going on. Because their circumstances when they first meet are pretty. It's a big bummer.
Yeah. I mean, these roles too in the show, there is rarely a moment where I'm not on stage either talking about her, if not with her.
Yes.
And so it's really, so much of it comes down to trust and respect. And it's just, it's been very easy to cultivate that relationship with somebody like Solea. And, so the time spent off stage is just as valuable as the time spent on stage. And
I think we just have very similar philosophies to how we look at doing this for a living and the show itself, We take this very, very seriously, but we also know that we got into this because it's a good time. At the end of the day. It's like we're gonna have it. We're the lucky ones. We get to enjoy our time here. So, I will say, performing the show last night felt really different. I think whenever big things happen in the world, performing a show like this, which is all about artists, wanting to be heard and seen in the world and make a difference in the lives of the people they love. The show hit a little bit differently yesterday in a way that I felt it felt really wonderful, actually, to be bringing joy to people yesterday. So
I think it surprised us both. And I mean, I think because this is a show that sells so much on spectacle, and it is. It's a spectacular production. There is so much to enjoy visually and take in, and the songs and the vocals and everything. But I think we both came into the process wanting to breathe as much heart and life into these characters as possible, to ground the spectacle in humanity. And so it's always amazing to me and memorable to me when I meet somebody at the stage door or on the street, wherever we happen to run into them, and they share with me their experience of being moved, whether it was to joy, to laughter, to tears, what have you.
Yeah.
I'm always honored to have been part of that moment for somebody.
Definitely.
So that is always memorable for me.
iHeartRadio Broadway, driven by Mercedes-Benz.